Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, if you're liking the content. Just to let you know, I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. So in this very special episode today, I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of getting into a romantic relationship quickly. Now, if you watch this channel for a while, you may know that there's aromantic asexuals, those who lack romantic attraction, as well as lacking sexual attraction. And then I'm known as a romantic asexual, a heteromantic asexual. I'm attracted hetero to guys, romantically, but not sexually. So I don't actually want sex with them. Although I do like a lot of kissing and I do have high arousal levels. So I'm a slightly different asexual to quite a lot of asexuals. And you may have known if you watch this channel that I've been predominantly single since November the 5th, 2011. I've kind of dated, well, before I realised I was asexual, I was dating sexual guys for a couple of years. That didn't work out. And then I did date a heterosexual very briefly last year, the year before, for 2 months. And I've been searching online for my asexual soulmate now since 2014. I always thought he was Indian. I did. And then I met this guy at my friend's birthday party, 50th birthday party on the 12th of April. And when I'm recording this, we're on the 28th of April. So that's not long ago. It's like 14 days ago. So it's like only 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So that's right, isn't it? 12 from 28 leaves. Oh, it leaves 16. So it's a little bit over 2 weeks there, like 16 days. I can't count very well. So yeah, so it's just been over a couple of weeks. And I met this guy at my friend's birthday party. And when we were dancing, he asked to take my hand and became really romantically interested in me very quickly. We pretty much went through all the stages of dating in the one night. And I know if you're aromantic asexual, you won't really understand romantic attraction. You'll think that is kind of crazy and far out. But romantic attraction, romantic love, romantic feelings are kind of crazy and far out. They bring up these chemical reactions and it's just like boom. And that's kind of what happened with him. I mean, he asked to hold my hand, to dance with me. We were dancing together. We danced so well together. We're the same star sign, same height, pretty much. And we just got on so well. And people did think we were a couple. So we just danced so well together. And when I held his hands for the first time, it was just like electric, you know. And we're very physically attracted to each other. Although I'm asexual and don't want sex with him, there's still really big, strong physical chemistry between us. That's always been there since the beginning. I think that just escalates and gets more and more as time goes on. But the pros, you know, like we're in a relationship now, and we've been in a relationship, officially for over a week now. Yeah, so it's kind of quick. Yeah, so we got into a relationship like a week after we got together. Hi Heather, he got an old soul. Philip does. Oh, thank you. Philip's got an old soul. How do you know that? How do you know Philip's got an old soul, Heather? Oh, bless you. I think in some ways, yes. Other ways, maybe not. But yeah, it's nice of you to watch, Heather. Thank you so much. So yeah, you know, I was dancing with him and it was all good. And there's certainly like huge chemistry between us. And even though sex is not involved, I finally found someone. Thank you. Thanks, Heather. It doesn't say you're watching at the moment. It's really weird. I don't think YouTube's showing people watching, which is strange because you're clearly watching, but it's not showing you up on my watch thing. Anyway, so I think it's very difficult for people to understand why people who are romantic get into relationships so quickly. But it's kind of all the chemistry going off, the romantic feelings, the romantic notion, and kind of like that. I don't know. It is kind of like movie star, like, oh, it's so nice. And when I met Philip, it was just like it was right with him. You know, when I held his hand, it was just felt so natural. You know, I don't usually get that with British guys. I was looking for an Indian guy. He's not Indian, but just the physical chemistry between us is just immense. Even though, you know, he's not foreign, he's British, but it's just like meant to be. It feels like it's right. Like when I hold his hand, when I kiss him and cuddle him, it just feels so right. And we do get on really, really well. So, you know, the pros and cons to get into a relationship quickly, you know, there's really good things. There's a lot of good things, right? Because obviously, if you've met the right person, for example, that you do want to spend the rest of your life with, just, you know, say everything worked out well between me and Philip, then you've not lost and missed that opportunity, right? Which you otherwise, by not taking a risk of being with that person, you may have just not had the opportunity to do that. Do you see what I mean? Because sometimes life is about risk. And even though it's hard, sometimes you have to take risks in life to seize opportunities in the moment. And that's really what we did, you know. We still seized the opportunity. We felt it's right to be together. We're kind of crazy about each other. And that felt really good, right? And this weekend, we were supposed to be going away to Bream Theme Park together. We went to Bream Theme Park, and unfortunately, it was closed because of the storm. So we both lost quite a bit of money. It was really upsetting because it was meant to be for my birthday. The park was closed all day, but we didn't know till we got there. I mean, they didn't even announce it till an hour before we got there. We were already on our journey because it was a 2-hour trip. And so, you know, it's like we both spent like a lot of money to get there, really, you know? And it's very upsetting that that happened, but it happened. So I felt bad, you know, like for him to spend that money out. And I felt bad for me, like my mum gave me the money. So like half the money's gone now. So if we go back, we've got to pay that all over again. I did contact the company, but so far, you know, it's been in vain. I will contact them again by email tomorrow. I'll message them on Facebook, but they didn't respond. You know, I thought it'd be nice if they, you know, did something for us, you know, because it's not our fault. They give us less than 1 hour's notice. We're already there. We had to make a special trip. It's a lot of money. And so anyway, so, you know, the pros to getting a relationship is you might, you know, met the person of your dreams that you're meant to be with for life. Yeah. Because some things, you know, like even if you plan them, you spend months getting to know the person, you know, sometimes like it's not right. Sorry to hear. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, I was really upset and gutted. I put a post on Facebook, and there were quite a lot of nasty people on Facebook about it, actually, having a go at me, saying, well, of course they had to close at health and safety, but I didn't say that anything about there was a problem with closing, just a problem they gave us too short notice, and we spent the money out to get there. Do you know what I mean? So of course they had to close it for health and safety. I wasn't saying anything about that, but there were some horrible people on that page, Bream page, if you look at it. It's like I made one comment. It's like 53 people more commented because I said, "Well, are you going to give us any compensation for the train and stuff? You know, it'd be nice. My birthday." So I couldn't actually go on my birthday day because, you know, my friend Sam injured his foot really badly when he was over for 4 days. It was lovely to see him though. We spent we had a meal on my birthday, went to cinema and saw the End Game, which you've probably seen the review about. But yeah, so going back to the pros and cons of getting into a relationship, really, you know, the pros are that, you know, you might have met the best person ever for you, the right person for you. You took the risk, you took the opportunity, and it paid off. Also, there's, you know, if there is like chemistry between you, it's quite rare to get. It's quite rare for me to be able to get someone who can be with me without sex, as you know. So that's a blessing for me. I mean, I get all the kisses that I love, which is really, really good. And I think, you know, that is good. And if the person turns out long term to be the right person for me, then it was a risk worth taking. So if we look at some of the cons of getting into a romantic relationship quickly, the cons are you haven't established that long standing trust, right? Like I've said before on this channel that, you know, it's hard really to ever be in a relationship with someone I haven't known a very long time because the trust isn't already there, the total trust. Like my 2 best asexual friends, I totally trust them with my life. Yeah. With Philip, I trust him like loads, very loads, but there's still things that I don't know about him, you know, and so it's harder for me. You know what I mean? Like, and situations crop up that you weren't expecting, and then it's really hard to deal with them because you're like facing your fear if it's something you're unknown and unsure about, and it's smacking you in the face. And then you have the option of carry on being with that person, despite the fact you might be uncomfortable with something they said or what they do with their life, or you talk to them about it and see if they can change or compromise can be met, or you obviously get out of the relationship. So that, that's difficult. Things crop up that you can get really scared about that you weren't expecting. And I think that's what's really difficult. So if you've established a long-standing friendship that turns into a relationship, you've already got like the backstory on that person. You already understand their past history, their present, where they're coming from. You understand their attitude towards relationships. You understand the difficulties that may face in that relationship with you. You understand how the dynamics would work more or wouldn't work more. So you have a much more clearer picture overall about whether that person can be right for you or not. When you get into a romantic relationship really quickly, you only have gut instinct really and the moment to go on, as it is. And so it's a lot of risk involved, if I'm honest. And you have to work out if that person's right for you over the long term. And I think that's one of the hardest things. Like, my heart wants to be with him forever because I got this like huge love to give him already, right? And that's amazing, to be able to love a person, like really genuinely love them very quickly is, you could argue it's really scary, but you could also argue it's really nice for that other person, for the person who you're giving that to, who receives it. It's really nice for them to feel that love, to feel loved. And it's nice to be able to give that gift to someone, especially rather than waste it, if you know what I mean. Like, I love my asexual friends dearly as my friends, right? But I have this huge heart romantically for the right person. And to be able to give that romantic love to someone is very nice and precious. And I want it to give to them to make them feel good and special about themselves and their life. And I think, if you've got the gift in the moment and you can cherish that person, love them for who they are right now, I think that's a very, very beautiful thing. However, in a relationship, you have your own needs to think about as well as the other person. And therefore, when you get into a relationship really quickly, if things crop up that are not to your liking or you weren't expecting or may go against some of your nature or what you're comfortable with, that can be difficult. I'm not talking about sexual stuff because he's fine about all that. It's nothing to do with that. Obviously, that could be if you get into a romantic relationship quickly and you're with someone who needs sex and you can't have it and you've got to compromise all the time, then that can be really difficult. Oops, but as this video is about spilling water down my mouth now, as this video is about romantic relationship rather than a romantic sexual relationship, this is what I'm talking about, Oh, hi! The man himself, Philip. And so you've missed part of it, darling. You have to rewind it back. Watch it again. So yeah, I think that's the really difficult part. Is like I've said the really beautiful parts. The pros of getting into a relationship quickly is that you took that risk, you took that opportunity to be with the person that hopefully is the right person for you for the rest of your life. Hi, okay, darling. Nice to see you. You could welcome to watch now and then watch the rest later. So yeah, so I think it's really, really good to be able to give that love to someone, to be able to take that opportunity and that risk of being with someone. And if it feels right, it's really good to go with it. Like I said, the going on to the cons is like when things crop up that you're really unaware of, that may be really uncomfortable for you to deal with, that maybe it's not your ideal case scenario, something about that person or about the situation with that person that you weren't expecting. I think that can be very difficult because it's like your fear is like smacking you in the face because you have to deal with it because you haven't got to know that person as a friend beforehand, so you don't know all the ins and outs of them and their little their little idiosyncrasies, their little ways and the way they like to do things. And we are just have fun with the journey and see where it goes. Just go with the flow. Yes, Heather, but I'm doing this video because I think it's important to tell people the pros and the cons. Obviously I'm with Philip, I'm really happy with him, I'm glad that we got into a relationship, I'm glad I'm with him. Oh, you're home now, bless you, darling, good. So I'm happy I'm with him, I'm happy in a relationship with him, I'm happy we took the risk, I'm happy we're together. It's just I'm doing the pros and cons because I want people to know that, because I've spoke on this topic before, that it's hard with that it's hard. Like if you've got to know someone as a friend before, for example, which I've always said on this channel is a good idea, even though I'm usually romantic and it doesn't usually work like that for me. You know, once you've got to know a person as a friend for a long time, then you kind of know the way they are, how they are with other people, how they are in social situations, how they are with at home, what they like, what they dislike. You know about them, and they know about you if you've got to know them as a friend first. So there's kind of not many surprises crop up, ideally, not many shocks, not many uncomfortabilities, because you've already got comfortable with that person as they are in their current scenario. When you get into a relationship with someone you don't know beforehand, you're kind of sometimes faced with all your fears. It's like bang, you know, it's like it's this is how the person is, like it or not. And then obviously you've got to kind of backtrack and think, can I deal with this? Is it good for me? So because you've got to think of yourself in the relationship, not just the other person. You've got to do both. So as a person in a relationship, your duty, your job, if you like, is to make the other person as happy as possible and to keep making them happy, which is a huge job, right? You need to make them happy, keep making them happy, but you have to make yourself happy at the same time. If you're not happy and you're neglecting yourself or your own needs for the sake of the other person, that's not going to work, because it's going to backfire on you. But at the same time, you still need to keep that other person happy in their needs. You have to get a right balance, because if you're not keeping them happy consistently and making them happy, then why will they stay around? And if you're not making yourself happy, then you'll just become uncomfortable in the relationship and want it to end. So you've got to really find a really good balance, you know? And that's hard when you've just got into a relationship with someone really quickly, when you don't know them. Like, obviously, there's loads I need to know about Philip, like how he is around. I've seen, obviously, how he is around other people, but I need to know more about how he is around other people, more how he is in social situations with other people, more how he is around, you know, I haven't met his family yet. Always listen to your gut. Thank you, Heather. You know, like, he need, you know, he's not met my family yet, obviously. I haven't met his yet. So you've got that to come. And I think you have to as well assess the situation ongoing, like a relationship ongoing. You have to assess where that person is going to be consistently attentive to you. It's all very well when you just get in the initial relationship, like really quickly, like everyone's buzzing, everyone's really attentive towards the other person because you want that person to be in a relationship with you. But when they've got you in a relationship, how good are they at maintaining attention on you, catering to your needs, loving you, caring about you, thinking about you? And the only way you're going to tell that is by consistent action over a long period of time and monitoring how they are with you. Like, are they still paying you attention, or are they getting distracted by other things? Are they still giving you active attention, or are they like just on social media all the time? You know, like I've spoke before on this channel, that you need to really make sure you have quality, consistent time with your partner. So you need to be making sure you cut off the internet for several hours at a time, at least to be in the moment with that person, so that you can get to know them as a person, and also that you can have quality time together, especially when you don't live together. Because if you don't live together, you don't really see each other every day. You don't get that quality time, if you know what I mean. Not that everyone who lives together has quality time. Sometimes you should always have a date night, like once a week, even if you're in a relationship a long time. You should be having a date night once a week, like going out to the cinema or going somewhere together. It's really, really important to spend quality time with just that person. That means that doesn't mean you're messaging your friends. That doesn't mean you're on Facebook. That doesn't mean you're texting. It means you're literally for several hours, it's once a week, going out together and experiencing the moment together and being together, you know, or having a movie night at home or something where you just the two of you. It's so important. But you have to monitor the situation, especially when it's to relationship quickly. So what you're doing, as if you're looking for a friend to be in a relationship with, and you've known a friend for a long time, obviously the danger of being going into a relationship with someone you've known a long time is you could potentially lose them as a friend. Like I've told you before, if they're really your friend, that should never happen, right? But there is the thing that some people get to be so good friends with someone that they think they don't want to spoil it by then get into a relationship with someone. Whereas if you get into a relationship with someone that you don't know as much, there isn't that risk of spoiling anything that was previously there, right? You're still going to have your friends, aren't you, at the end of the day, as long as you keep your good friends. So, you know what I mean? There's that less risk there. But, I think that sometimes, especially in romantic relationships, it just happens that you do meet the right person. I was talking to it's my friend's birthday as well. There's a lady who my friend's really good friends with, and she's been with her partner for quite a few years now. And I was saying, how did you two meet? And they met at a holiday camp together, and they got together and they met each other and just got together just like that, and they've been together ever since. So it just goes to prove that some relationships, even when they get into a relationship really quickly, they do last for like years and potentially forever, right? So just because someone gets into a relationship quickly with someone doesn't mean to say it can't work, but it takes a heck of a lot of adjusting. It takes far more adjusting when you're with someone quickly in a relationship than it does when you're not, because it's like that person's got their whole life, you've got your whole life, and you have to kind of like mingle them in together so that they feel good for both people, and so that one person isn't losing out on their life, but instead you're coming together to make it more special and enjoyable and spend more time with each other, spend more time with each other. So I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult when you get into a relationship quickly, but I think it can be really, really nice at the same time. I think it's hard. The hardest thing I said about any relationship, no matter whether it's quickly you get into it or over a long period of time you get into it, is the sustainability of it. Like, people don't realize a relationship is a full-time job. They just think it's, it is fun. It should be fun. It should be happy. It should be lively, but it's not always going to be fun. The telling of a relationship is all the hard times, the times when you're not so happy together. That is that person like making you really miserable, or is it just temporary being upset? Temporary upset's fine, but if you end up in a relationship where you're more upset than happy, then you're not going to be able to keep it. It's not going to do you any good, either of you. So I think you've got to really weigh up the pros and cons as you go along. Like, you have to assemble all the information. Like, are you seeing any red flags? Are you seeing more than one red flag? How many red flags are red flags that you can put up with? And red flags you should just not bother carrying it on. How many things is it just that you don't know about the other person that you need to know? They need to know about you. But it is harder. I think it's a lot harder when you don't already have their established trust for months and months and months with that person. I think that's what makes it difficult. I think it can make you like, with me, it makes it harder personally. But he has shown me over this short period of time that he is very trustworthy in lots of areas, so that's really good. Like, I do trust him a lot, don't get me wrong, but obviously trust has got to be earned over a period of time as well. I've talked to you about this on this channel before. It's not just like given just like that. You have to earn trust over a long period of time. You have to be able to prove that you're consistently like that, prove that that you can be honest and truthful, ongoing. It's not about 2 days, 3 weeks. It's about months and years of your life. Like, I don't get into a relationship where I don't intend to be with them long term, right? I don't do that because I don't see the point. Doesn't mean to say that things are going to go right. I hope they do, but it doesn't mean to say that things can't go wrong. I mean, I like to be with this person long term, like forever. But they have to feel the same way and want exactly the same things. And as far as I know, they do at the moment, which is all great. But, you have to assess the situation over a long, long period of time. Like, does that person make you happy? Do you make them happy? Because at the end of the day, you have to both make each other really happy consistently, because your life should be as good as it is on your own as it is with that person. I think that's really super important to make sure that you'll both make each other happy. And I think it's harder to do that when you get into a relationship quickly in some ways, because you're still adjusting. I think there's a lot of adjusting that you have to do, because like I said, you've both got your own lives, and it's like when you get into a relationship quickly, it's like, boom, this is my life, that's my life. It's like you've got to fit in. Whereas if you're friends with someone for a long time, you kind of know your different lifestyles. and you kind of can work out roughly how to fit it in before you're in it. But when you're in it, it's kind of like you have a building, right? And if it goes well, like say you're building a building, right? An analogy is, say you're building a building, right? And you get into the building quickly, right? And this is a really good analogy. So say you're building a building, right? And you get into a relationship quickly. So you get into the building quickly and you're building it. If it goes well, it can build taller and taller and taller, be a great foundation. Okay. You put the roof on, you've got all the things in the room, your house is stable, strong, secure, right? Or it can go the opposite way and all the rubble can come down and you can build it and then realize, oh my God, this is not right. And then all the bricks come tumbling down. So it can work either way. And I think, it's difficult. It's very difficult when the trust isn't already there before over a long period of time. Like there's a lot of aromantic asexuals that watch this channel and they want a queer platonic relationship or a platonic relationship. And they will usually spend a lot of months, a lot of years getting to know the person first before they get into a relationship, which is obviously a very sensible thing to do. With romantic relationships, like I said, it can be like a whirlwind of chemicals flying around and attraction and romantic feelings. Doesn't mean to say that the romance is invalid or isn't right or isn't good. It just means that it kind of like puts the relationship on a pedestal so that it's this wonderful, wonderful, amazing thing, which it is, but you've got to remember the practicalities of it. Like I think it's really good because it also the pros of getting into a relationship quickly is it can challenge you, and challenges can be a good thing, right? They grow you as a person. So when you're challenged in a new relationship, you do come up against all these kind of things you have to adjust to, and it's kind of like you've got to assess whether it's an adjustment for your growth, whether it's a good thing you're adjusting to, or if it's a bad thing you're adjusting to. You don't want to be compromising your whole personality for the sake of someone when then that's not what you wanted in the first place. So you got to be very careful. I mean, I think you have to talk to the person a lot. You have to communicate extra with the person, especially when it's someone you don't know as well. You have to constantly be communicating with the person to get to know them, to trust them. You kind of have to build the trust up very, very quickly. So you have to like turbo boost all the aspects and elements that you would use to trust. The honeymoon stage, that's what my brother would say. Yeah. Well, there is Heather. There's something called the honeymoon stage, and it lasts usually a period of 3 months on average for a relationship. It's 3 months. So after 3 months, you know what the person's really like. Usually, you know if they're going to start arguing with you, shouting at you, whether they're going to be kind or abusive to you. You usually know within 3 months. Some people don't know. Some people it takes a year to know with. And obviously, as I've had abuse in the past, and anyone who's had abuse in the past, you have to kind of be extra vigilant about stuff like that, when you get into a relationship quickly, with anyone, anyone, because that's a sensible thing to do, isn't it? You have to remain vigilant of your own choices, like the type of people. I mean, I usually attract the highly sexual guys, obviously, so I've got to be really careful of that as well. And I think, it's kind of hard to jump from a single life, in some ways, to a partnered life. For me, it's kind of like come naturally, a lot of stuff. Like, we spent this weekend together. He stayed over my home. Obviously, I'm asexual, so it's like we weren't doing sex stuff. But it's kind of like I adjusted and he adjusted quite well to that, I thought. Like, overall, like I'm not used to a guy being in my flat. I'm really not used to that. That's weird for me. And to have someone in the same space as me is kind of weird, but it worked fine. I mean, like as an asexual person, you hear me? As an asexual person, it worked out fine because he never saw me naked, and I could get changed in another room and stuff like that. So, like, I didn't know if I could sleep in the same bed as someone, and that was really difficult for me, if I'm honest. I had trouble with that. I couldn't sleep all the time with someone in the same bed as me, so I'd get up and do stuff. I started dancing. It was quite funny, but then I don't want to wake the other person up. But it was kind of hard because, you know, I've told you on this channel before, I got a problem with sleeping in the same bed as someone, not because of the person, just because I personally find it hard, and I've got fibromyalgia, so I can't have any pressure points. That was quite hard. That was difficult, especially because I don't usually go to bed till 4 in the morning, and then I get up at 12 usually, whereas he lives a different life to me. Do you know what I mean? And like, I have a shower before when I get up, and he'll have a shower before he goes to bed. So it's fine in terms of like shower arrangements, like which one's, you know, it being free, but it's kind of hard that it's kind of opposite like that. But I always knew that whoever I end up getting a relationship with, that will be difficult. It'll be difficult to sleep in the same bed as them. It'll be difficult, you know, because I have to adjust them being around my flat if I want them around my flat. So but I've adjusted quite well overall, I think, like really quickly. Like, it was really nice. We went out and did some shopping together, food shopping. He bought me like wash powder, toilet rolls and stuff, because he's over my place. So I'll need to do some washing for him as well. And obviously he's over using the toilet and stuff. So I thought that was really, really, really respectful, really kind. And doing shopping together felt really good. You know, that's a very quick adjustment in a very good right direction. Like, he's very respectful. He's not just coming in, and he buys his own food as well. So he's not just coming in and taking all my food and using all my stuff. He's like, no, I'm round there. I'm going to help you out. I'll pay for this because I'm over here, you know. And I think that shows really maturity on his part, really adult side to him. Really respectful, very, very kind, heart, very, very good. I really liked that about him a lot. I thought it was really nice. It was nice to do shopping together as well and go out as a couple. That was really, really sweet. That felt really good. And I felt like I adapted quite quickly. I even cooked food for him today. You know, I said I'll never cook for a guy. I hate cooking, but I did actually cook for both of us. But he likes cooking for me in the future. So it's like, kind of like, I think he'll do the cooking. So I don't think my cooking's that great for him, because I like stuff that's allergy free, and he's used to like sauces and stuff on things. So, you know, I'm not bothered about cooking. So if he wants to cook for me, that's great, you know. There's a lot of nice qualities about him. There's some stuff that came up, I'll be honest, that I didn't know about him, that kind of really shocked me. And that did make me go, woo, and take a step back. I mean, I don't think it was anything nasty or terrible. I just think it's hard for me to deal with, because I'm not used to that type of person, that situation. And it felt not so good for me. It did make me a bit, you know, like, it made me not feel so good, because that's not my ideal scenario when I've got a boyfriend. That you know, I'm not going to say what it is because it's private, but and it's not to do with sex, 100% not, you know. It's nothing to do with that, which is good. That side of things is great. You know, he's lovely. He doesn't make me do anything like that. Doesn't ask me to do anything like that. So that's really, really good. I'm really happy about that. That's quite rare. So that's all great. Kissings, all that's great. All that's good. It's the situation I have to get used to. Like, I haven't met his friend. I haven't met his friends yet, many of them. I met one so far, I think. Yeah, one at the train station. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he is with everyone, if you know what I mean. So I need to find out and hopefully you know, deal with that for me to be comfortable. So I think it's harder when you don't have that trust built up over a long period of time. I think it can create a bit of insecurity, admittedly. You know, like, it creates a teeny bit of insecurity with me, I think. But that's only natural, you know. Like, someone has to prove that they're worth your trust. Someone has to prove that they're genuine and honest, not just expect that. So I think, and not that he said he does expect it, you know. I think he knows that. But I'm just saying overall, you know, I'm trying to keep it as general with specific examples without being too personal at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just think it's really hard getting to a relationship. I think it's really wonderful, and that can be really hard. It depends how you look at it, though. Like, if you look at it as more of an adventure, an exploration, a journey together, I think it'd be good. But I do like a lot of attention in a relationship, a lot of attention. And I need that to be consistent and persistent. So, you know, I have to monitor that over a long period of time. I like a lot of being attentive, like in the present moment with the person. You know, because I do a lot of stuff online. I do like I run 5 Facebook groups for asexuals. I have friends I need to message back. I have like this channel I need to. I have a ton of stuff I need to do, and it's all important that I keep all that up. It's also important that we have dedicated quality time together, especially if you don't live with the person. But yeah, I think, you know, when something crops up in a new relationship that you're not sure about, that makes you feel uncomfortable, or scared, or apprehensive, or unsure, or surprised, shocked, even if it's not bad, you can sometimes just, you know, it's just that you're not used to it. It's like if I was like, say, my ideal relationship, like Philip ticks a lot of my boxes, like loads of them. But there are certain things I would look for in a guy that is different. But obviously, I'm not going to get the perfect person that's 100% every single little thing I'm looking for. It's not really going to happen. So, you know, there's things I have to get used to again. Like, for example, he doesn't drink around me when we're on our own, but obviously he drinks with his friends, and when I'm with him and his friends, I'll have to get used to that alcohol. I'm used to having friends that drink. Having a boyfriend for ages, do you know what I mean? So that's different for me. Red meat, you know, like pork, lamb, and beef, I don't eat, but that was really good. I was really good about that. I didn't actually have a problem in the end, because I don't like red meat. I don't like the smell of it usually, and I just don't like eating red meat myself. And I wasn't sure I could have that in my home, but actually that didn't bother me. Like, he got ready meals with red meat in it, snacks with red meat in it, you know, like beef, whatever, ham. It didn't bother me. So I was really glad about that. I was actually glad about that for myself, really, because, you know, like I said, I can't have the perfect person. I've got to be good with the person where you are. I want him to be himself, and it's really important that I do stick to that. You know, but it's just hard when you're in a new relationship quickly, and you have to think about your own needs and comfortability as well as that person consistently. Like, am I being kind to this person? Like, this is me asking myself with him, am I being kind to that person? Is he happy with me? Am I making him happy? How is he feeling? You know, like, and the food didn't bother me. And I was really happy about that. I'm cool about him eating whatever he wants because I want him to be really happy. And I didn't even really notice the smell. And it was like really good, you know, so that didn't bother me. And that was shocking, but in a nice way for me, like, and for him, obviously, because it's like I wasn't sure. Because I know, like, when you've been single for so long, like since 2011, I've been like single for pretty much 7.5 years it is. And so, like, trying to adjust to someone, like, I don't like the smell of red meat usually. It just repulses me usually. And I didn't really want it in my home. That was the idea before I got with him. But actually, because I know he needs it, and it's healthy for him to have that, and it's good for his body and good for his energy. And I actually didn't bother me, because my parents eat red meat sometimes anyway, and I'm used to being around other friends that do. That didn't actually bother me. Even when we were out and he had this like breakfast thing, that was like I don't know, was it like ham and eggs or something? I don't know what it was. It's like a breakfast burger bun thing. Like, I kissed him on the train when we were going to Breen, even though it wasn't open, and that was fine. I was cool, even though it's like, so it was all fine. I did actually when I dated the heterosexual guy, not the last guy last year, but the guy before, the 2 months, he ate red meat as well, and I did kiss him afterwards. So I kind of got used to that back then. But it's different when it's in your own home cooking it. But I was fine. I mean, I don't want to cook that stuff. Like, but I did, like, ready meals I did, because it's kind of easy for me. So I actually did kind of cook it, stuck it in the microwave. The first one I did myself, and like spooned it for him, you know, spooned it round. So yeah, I did do that. I was quite proud. I'm quite proud of myself for that. That's a big adjustment for me, very quickly. And I wasn't bothered about that adjustment. So that's really good. He makes good stir fry. So yeah, so that was really good. I was really impressed with myself for that, how quickly I adapted to that. So that was good. But I think the danger or the problem is down the line is you've got to make sure that you're both happy with the new situation. And everyone, like, human nature is we hate change, right? Human nature is we absolutely hate change. That's part of the human nature, the nature of human beings. And so if you get into a relationship with quickly with someone, then there can be a lot of changes smack on you straight away. And to be honest, it's a natural response for the body and the person to revolt, like to be like, whoa, this is just too much. And you then have to take a step back and think, is it too much because it's new to you, or is it too much because it's just not good for you? And I think that's the difficulty. You have to assess whether it's not good for you or just it's new to you. And obviously, when something changes happening that you're not used to, it could be new and not good for you, but then not good for you could just be temporarily because it's new. Like when a person such as myself has anxiety, my anxiety's gone down with him loads, which is amazing. So I think I've mentioned before, when you get into a relationship really quickly, if you've got anxiety, it's not really a good thing, right? Because your anxiety's flying around, you don't know what it's going to be like. But because he's not, because like I'm asexual and he's doesn't need sex from me, that anxiety pretty much is gone, the majority of it. I still get anxious a bit about some other things, but like the trust issues, I think is harder because I've only just met him like not long ago. But I think the other stuff is really good. It's it's good. So I just think there's pros and cons to get into a relationship. If it's a good person for you, if it's someone you're highly likely to be compatible with over the long term, and it's someone you can trust and be best friends with, I think it's good. If it becomes like the person stops paying you attention and stops being as attentive, and when you talk to them about it, they seem like they're not really happy to do anything about that, then it's hard, because then you're kind of left with that option. Well, if they're not making you happy, then you can't be with them. So I think you've got to weigh it up over a period of time when you get into a new relationship quickly, because you don't know that person. You've got to give that relationship time. You've got to still carry on. I mean, I think you've got to keep the intention that you're going to be with them long term, and hope that it works out really well and keeps going in that direction, whilst you've still got to maintain your own health, well-being, as well as they maintaining theirs as well. I think that's so important, that when you're in a relationship, don't neglect your own needs, because if you neglect your own needs, then you actually automatically, by default, neglect the other person. So I think that's really important. But when you get into a new relationship quick, there is adjustments to make. Like lifestyles, friends you got to kind of fit in, like hobbies and interests. If you've got the same hobbies and interests, it's great, but you do have to do a lot of adjusting. And I think like when you've been friends with someone, get into relationships, it's easier to adjust because you're kind of used to them and their ways already, and you got an idea of how it's going to work out. When you get into a relationship with someone that you don't really know that well, it's kind of like you're forced to work it out, especially if the person cold and distant energy never ignore, especially if the person cold and distant energy never ignore. Yeah, exactly. If the person becomes distant from you and they start getting distracted all the time, and they start to not be as affectionate, not holding your hand as much, not kissing with you, not cuddling as much, it is a red flag. It's a very big red flag. And I think that's the danger. I think the danger is when you get into a relationship with someone quickly, they can be all over you, really wanting you, really attentive, really tending to your needs. And then as you get in a relationship, it's like, well, no, I'd rather listen to music than kiss or cuddle you. No, I'd rather message my friends than speak to you. What do you think about Puerto Ricans? What do I think about Puerto Ricans? Well, I don't know Puerto Ricans, do I? In what context? On about a relationship? I'm not in a relationship with a Puerto Rican. I think if you're getting into a relationship quickly with a foreign person, they should be in your country. Not if they're a Puerto Rican person and you've come across them, for example, on ASAP. As scientists, well, I'm not talking about that, am I? I haven't got a clue. This is about relationships, not to do with science, social, physical, etc. I have no idea. Don't have anything to do with Puerto Ricans. I think I've seen a few on asexual dating apps, and that's about it. I have no idea. But thanks for the question. So, but I can't answer it because I have no idea. I don't really get involved with Puerto Ricans. Yeah, no idea. Would you date a Puerto Rican? Well, I'm in a relationship at the moment, so I wouldn't go around dating anyone else. So I don't think that's right. Do you know what I mean? And I certainly personally would not, if you're asking my dating advice, I wouldn't date someone I wasn't able to meet in person and spend time with in person. What if you weren't in a relationship? Well, if I wasn't in a relationship, which I am, would I date a Puerto Rican? Well, definitely not if they weren't asexual, no, because I can't have sex. I don't like it, if that answers your question. So if a person was a heterosexual guy, then no. I'm Puerto Rican and I think I'm a nice guy. Yes, but I've got a boyfriend. I've got a boyfriend. You're not even in this country, and I'm asexual, not sexual. So, do you know what I mean? There's your answer. So, yeah, exactly. I'm with Philip. I'm a Puerto Rican living in Belgium. And you're a Puerto Rican living in Belgium and do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I've already given mine. I think we could make a cute couple. Yes, I'm with someone in a relationship. So, you know, I've already given my answer. And I doubt you're even asexual either. It's Philip is she's taken, buddy. Exactly. I'm taken. Like, or I'm not being funny, but there's loads of guys who wanted to be in a relationship with me before I got in one. And as soon as I get in a relationship, like guys want me. It's just like law of attraction gone wrong, isn't it really? Do you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate your interest, but I'm not single. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm in a relationship. So, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be with someone who lived abroad anyway. I need a guy in the UK, which my boyfriend lives near me. Do you know what I mean? Do you know any single ladies? Why don't you go on dating sites? There's tons of single ladies on dating sites. And I don't recommend anyone be in a relationship with someone abroad. I've just said that, you know? I would not, like, okay, this video is about getting into a relationship quickly, the pros and cons. I do not recommend getting into a relationship quickly with anyone online. I have to make this clear. There are none as precious as you. You don't know me. You don't know me. But, you know, I'm good for Philip, you know? I'm precious for Philip. So I'm beautiful for him. I'm not single. You know, I was single for years before. If you were interested in me before, then you should have talked to me before. But I don't be with someone who's not asexual and who lives abroad anyway, which I've said a million times on this channel, and I will not be in a long distance relationship with anyone. I've been asked multiple. You might be single. I'm not surprised you're single. If you're single and heterosexual, just go online and go on the tons of dating sites online. You know, there's tons of them. You can easily get a sexual person for you. It's not difficult, is it? Just go to a nightclub, chat up some women. The women that like sex can go with you. Then you can be in a relationship, right? It's not difficult, is it? It's not rocket science. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of sexuals out. I'm sure you're not asexual, because if you were, you would have said by now. You probably don't even know what it is. This has been a disaster. Right, okay. It's been a disaster. It's you know, well, yeah, probably a disaster for you because I'm taken, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? I don't do that. If I'm in a relationship with someone, I'm in a relationship with someone. I don't then go and be with someone else or have conversations about being in a relationship with someone else like that because I'm in a relationship with someone. Do you know what I mean? I'm very, very loyal. and faithful. What is asexual? Asexual is asexual together. Look, my book. Asexual, see? So asexual, which is my channel, asexual, all one word, means absence. A stands for absence of sexual attraction. So I am a asexual person. So, basically it means I have the absence of sexual attraction. So I never get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse, however much I love the person. I don't look at the person and go, I want sex with you now. Like, I might think I want to snog you now. I might want to kiss you now. I might want to cuddle you now. But I don't go around thinking I want sex because I don't have sexual attraction. So I don't want sex with anyone in the world. Would you recommend that book for Puerto Ricans? I was just like, well, yes, but it's an asexual book. But of course I'd recommend it. It's got 40, if you want to know more about asexuality, it's got 47 asexual stories in it. So it's got people from all around the globe and across the asexual spectrum in the book. So links are below so you can grab yourself a copy, and it talks about love, life and sex from an asexual point of view. So, yeah. Get it. Check it out. Read it. Learn something. If you don't learn anything in your life, you'll never know. Because, you might come across an asexual person in your country. No, you can't get a free reviewer's copy. You can pay for it like everyone else does. Thanks very much. And if you're not asexual, you probably won't understand it anyway very much. So I don't give away free copies. Simple as. I've never given away a reviewer's copy. I don't need to because it sells itself week after week after week, month after month after month. And people review it when they've read the book for free because they like it so much. So I don't need to give away free copies of my book at all. I don't need to. Thanks very much. I certainly don't need a stranger reviewing it like that. If you want to go and buy it, go and buy it. It's the price of like that Kindle version, the price of a cup of coffee out. The published book, is the price of a 2-course meal or something. Just go and get it, isn't it? If you want it. But I'm well and truly taken, I've got a boyfriend. I'm not a stranger. I think we have some chemistry going on here. Oh, whatever. I have chemistry with my boyfriend. Thanks very much. Anyway, so if you get into a relationship quickly, people, remember to be faithful to that person 100%, even if you've just met them and not been in a relationship with them very long. Because if you're not going to be faithful to them, there's no point in being with them. You may as well still single forever, right? So even if you're in a relationship quickly with someone, you need to be knowing that you're going to be the faithful type, right? I knew before I got into a relationship that I've been waiting to get a relationship with a good guy for a long, long time. And that when I'm getting into a relationship, I'm going to be 100% faithful. Because that's the standard I expect them to have for me and me to have for them, right? I'm very, very loyal, faithful. And, I'll always be that way. I've had guys in the past that weren't that way. But I'm not stopping being my good self just because some jerks in my past decided to cheat on me, mostly for sex, And it does take a lot of trust when you meet a new person to trust them again that way a heck of a lot, It's quite scary. But I think, if you're with a person who's got a good, kind heart, and thanks for the thumbs up, I really appreciate that. If you're with someone who's got a really kind heart and you can see that they're a good person overall, I think you give them a chance, don't you? And I think it's really important, and, even if you get into a relationship quickly, you've got to make sure you're ready for a relationship as well. So if you were going to a relationship quickly, I already knew I've been looking for someone for years. So I'm more prepared to be able, when that person comes along, to be able to try and adapt, because I'm more wanting to be in a relationship, if that makes sense. I'm more willing to compromise, or more willing to do things that I wouldn't usually do. Like with my boyfriend, I'll do things for him that I wouldn't do before for other people. I won't cook for a guy usually, but I cooked for him today. That was a really huge deal for me, because I'm not into doing that usually, as you know, if you watch your channel. But because he's so kind and he does some shopping with me and he carries lots of things, he helps me loads, it kind of makes me feel like better to help him. It makes me feel like good. Even though I think he's probably going to be better at cooking my food than me is. I just think it's going to be good, And I think, if you get into a relationship quickly, you have to know that if you want it to last or something, how do you deal with death when it is someone you like versus someone you don't like? You're asking very random questions. How do you deal with death when it is someone you like versus someone you don't like? Well, if someone dies and it's someone I like, I get upset, I cry, I love them, they're always in my heart forever. If it's someone I don't like, then I probably wasn't even friends with them in the first place. Yeah, so if it's someone I don't like, I probably wasn't someone I'm friends with in the first place. So it probably wouldn't even know they were dead, would I? If it's someone I don't like, because I probably wouldn't hang around them. So I try not to have negative people in my life. I try to have no negative friends. If people are on Facebook causing me negativity, I just block them, delete them. Don't need them. In my life, I have a good handful of friends, in-person friends, quality friends. So I don't have, if someone died I didn't like, I probably wouldn't even know them, because if I don't like someone, I don't bother having them in my life usually. So what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Everyone has different types of people they get on with. And, like, if you were alive when Lucifer was kicked out of heaven, would you be happy or not? I don't. Hi, Philip. Love you lots. I have no idea. I don't know who Lucifer is. I'm not religious, very religious at all. So more spiritual than religious. So I have no idea. I don't think about stuff like that. If you've got any relevant questions to this thread, that would be great. But yeah, I think when you get into a relationship quickly, don't bother getting into a relationship unless you're absolutely certain that you want to be in a relationship in the first place. Do I believe in astrology? Actually, me and my boyfriend are both the same star sign. So yes, I do. Me and my boyfriend are both exactly the same star sign. Our birthdays are very close to each other. We're almost the same height. We do look very cute together. And I always think people who make good couples look very cute together, and their faces look similar, like their lines and facial lines. And when we're cuddling in front of a mirror, like, we looked very symmetrical. No, I'm not a Pisces. My parents are Pisces. I'm not. Thank God. I'm glad I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus, and so is my boyfriend. We're both ruled by Venus, the goddess of love, baby. You cuddle in front of a mirror. You're getting a bit personal now, aren't you? I said when we cuddled in front of a mirror. I didn't say we always cuddle in front of a mirror. I said when we cuddled in front, and it happened to be in front of a mirror. Anyway, that's, yeah. So yeah, I had a really good time over the weekend with my boyfriend. I think there's a lot to learn about each other, and I also think that's a good thing as well. When you get into a relationship quickly, there's a lot of exciting things. That's sort of ironic that you're ruled by the goddess of love while being asexual isn't. Being asexual isn't. Well, actually, asexuality is the purest form of love you can get. So Venus, the goddess of love, is quite appropriate for me, because it's all about being sensual, not sexual, about being loving, about being hugely romantic, and about loving love and being very sort of dedicated to the person you're with. So actually, I'm very like that, you know? I think when you've got another person who's the same star sign like that, and you're both ruled by a planet of Venus, a planet of love, it's like you're both really into each other. You're both really excited to see each other. You're both really in love with each other. You both want to speak to each other. You know, you're both really romantic over each other. So actually, I think it's a very good thing, you know? But going back to like the this video, I think it's really important that when you get into a relationship, even if it is quickly, that you are actually up for a relationship, especially if it's quickly, actually, because it's like, you know, you've got to try and adapt. And if you're not really wanting it in the first place, you know, then it's not really going to last anyway. If you both want a relationship and you wanted it for a long, long time, even if you're getting it quickly, you're more likely to have longevity. Sometimes though, you can compromise yourself and it's not good, because you're compromising yourself too much and you're not taking care of yourself. But if you just bear in mind and talk to the person and say, look, you know, I'm comfortable with this, but I'm not comfortable with that, and hopefully they do something about it or compromise with you, you know, over it. Do you know what I'm saying? Go right out of here, human rights company. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. I really appreciate your time and attention here, and thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Philip, a Human Rights Society, a Human Rights Company. Yeah. Well, it's been interesting. What more can I say? But I'm definitely taken. And so yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you for now. Bye bye, Philip, darling. Bye, Heather. Lots of love to you. And yeah. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in tonight. And until next time, embrace your quirky and your chuz. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed. Don't forget to hit that great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're enjoying the content. And I'll see you soon. So take care. Thank you so much for watching. And it's good night from me, or goodbye, or good morning, wherever you happen to be. Bye. See you soon. Bye.